Hola clase, ¿cómo están ustedes? Espero que todos estén bien. Hoy es domingo, el 24 de abril 2022. Y esta es un video para semana 12 y voy a hacer otro video para semana 13. Así que gracias por su paciencia, pero yo estoy muy atrasado en darles este video. Espero que ustedes estén más adelantados en sus prácticas y en hacer las separaciones. So, hi everyone, this is Sunday the 24th, and this video is about Unit 3, specifically Week 12. And thank you so much for your patience. I'm way behind in getting this video to you. We'll make a Week 13 video, which will round out Unit 3. But if you're getting this on the 24th, the evening of the 24th, and you've probably already finished the Unit 3, or you are feeling way behind as well. Pero déjame decirles que les voy a dar más tiempo, porque como yo estoy atrasado, yo no puedo esperar que mis estudiantes estén al día. Así que don't worry if you are behind. I really can't, honestly, I expect for you all to be up to date. Estoy consciente de que ustedes dependen de mí. Muchos de ustedes, algunos son muy avanzados, algunos dependen de mí y por eso estoy aquí. Pero estoy consciente de eso y de que necesitan estos videos. Y me encanta hacer esos videos. Es que este semestre ha sido el semestre más difícil de mi carrera como maestro, como profesor. Así que gracias por su paciencia y en realidad no puedo ver tener un semestre tan difícil. Jamás. No creo que voy a tener un semestre tan difícil como este semestre. So, all that in inglés. So, I really can't see myself having a more difficult semester ever. Okay, new life, unexpected death, my wife's mother, who's also my son's Mimi, and they were thick as thieves, very, very close. So it's difficult talking to a 4-year-old about death. But I don't remember everything else that I said in Espanol, just kind of making this impromptu. But you guys have been gracious. Let me say one thing about you all that I appreciate, and then we'll get to the content of this video. I think only 2 out of the entire student body for this class, only 2 have withdrawn. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but it has been very, very difficult, and I have not given the feedback that I usually do because of unforeseen circumstances, illnesses, surgeries that my son has had. And so you guys have been troopers and sticking in there. And I think you all are really doing great. This won't sound great for you guys, but the mistakes are typical, just to give you general feedback. The mistakes that you all are making are typical on the assignments that you're completing. Endings of nouns, that's in pluralization, verb endings. These are all typical. And what that means is that they're all fixable because Spanish has existed for centuries. And so if these mistakes are typical and they keep happening, that means people actually probably get past them and they become fluent in the language. So you're on a good course. So keep fighting, keep going ahead. And there is Espanol dos. I teach it next semester in the summer. It's the only course I teach in the summer. So my feedback is totally dedicated to Espanol dos. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, by the way. And it's flex class. You can be in the physical classroom or you can be online. Anyway, all of that, I will go ahead and save some of it for later. Let's get into the content, and we're going to go to Canvas. And I just want to let everyone know that because yo estoy muy atrasado, because I'm so behind, and give you feedback and in just opening activities and making sure I grade them and uploading videos, I've already uploaded or opened Unidad Cuatro. So if you are one who is feeling good about what you're learning, getting good feedback, or you're feeling good about what feedback you get from the automated grading that goes on in Canvas, go ahead to Unit 4. And if you feel great about what you've done in Las Evaluaciones, although I have to grade the bulk of those, go ahead to Unit 4 and save yourself some time. You can have some free time if you want. So I'm going to go to Unidad 3, and as I said before earlier in el video, este video trata de la semana doce. So this video is about week 12, which has already passed, and I'll make another one, a subsequent one about week 13, hopefully within the next day or two. So tenemos aquí semana doce, and I'm just going to run through this rápidamente. I won't spend a lot of time on each one. I know you don't believe me, but watch. The bigger picture about this unit has to do with números. And so we don't really learn números like we did in Unit 1, as in los números 0 a 30, 0 to 30. Rather, we learn about frequency, about number of days, number of months. And so that's a bigger picture that you want to actually think about. Pluralization is a word that we use in this unidad, in this unit. And so that's one way to kind of encapsulate the unit, if that helps, if that works for you. Comparación cultural, hopefully you already looked at this. It talks about the different sistemas de educación en México, España y Argentina. Son distintos estos sistemas. So these systems are different. I'll just highlight one. In España, where I got the opportunity to study, hay trimestres. Instead of semestres, there are trimesters. So when I think of trimesters, I usually think of like pregnancy, and so what does trimester have to do with education? Well, they have 3 sessions instead of just a spring and kind of fall/winter one. So that's a little bit different in España. Also, I believe in Mexico, the high school is called la prepa or preparatoria, and middle school secundaria. Although that can be confused with high school in some places, it kind of makes sense because elementary school called la primaria, primary, secundaria, the second phase or middle school, and then la prepa or preparatoria, which prepares you for el bachillerato, which is kind of a way of getting into more advanced studies, as in university level studies. Yeah. So, of course, hopefully you've done that assignment already. There's a lot to learn about Mexico. This video actually is a little bit sad when it talks about the depravación, the depravity of education past 8th grade in Mexico, but it's interesting information. Sobre España, don't have a lot about Argentina beyond the article, but I think that you'll find it interesting either way. So, ¿cómo aprendemos las fechas y los meses? Pues, how do we learn the days and the months? Well, we learn them the same way you learn them in English, by saying them first, hearing them, or maybe singing them first. But both involve a lot of repetición, a lot of repetition. So you have to trick yourself into saying them a ton. Mi YouTuber favorito es Basho. He's taught my son quite a bit of Espanol, and so I think he can teach you a lot of Espanol. Also, if you have a little person in your life, go for it. Maybe that give you an excuse to sing along with these kiddie songs, but they're educational nonetheless. If you're not sure how to pronounce these, let's go for it right now. ¿Listos? Repitan conmigo. Repeat with me. Los días: lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Bien. And Basho has a fun song to go with that. ¿Listos? Los meses, the months. Enero. No, following enero, which is January, everything else is a cognate. Now, you can understand maybe the los días, or you might have a little bit of a difficulty remembering those, but los meses, no pressure, but you guys are college students, and some of you concurrent students perhaps, you're smart enough to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and put you in that category. Not to put too much pressure on you, but yeah, you can do this because they're cognates. I mean, if you look at these February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, these look like they do in English. There's really no reason to not memorize them really quickly. So let's go for it. Remember, las vocales are important. A, E, I, O, U. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. I think the things that the vowels that you have to think about when you're saying these are O and E. Typical mistake that you all are making and everyone else makes who is an English speaker is O, saying O and just keeping your mouth in the shape of an O, and E. With both of those, you want to maintain the fixture. You want to do like you're taking a picture or something. So O. What we do, especially in Oklahoma, if you can see my face, is we say O. You see how I made a W with her? But we say el perro, right? And so we put an extra W on the end. But if you can just keep that mouth fixed, it'll sound like an O in Espanol. O, perro, carro. And with E, just kind of hold your face in a smile and it'll sound like E. Noviembre, diciembre. The first half of diciembre, keep a smile. Diciembre. Yeah. Okay. So that was a lot. Yeah. Aquí tenemos más sobre las fechas y los meses. To say the date, you'll answer the question, ¿cuál es la fecha? It translates as to which is the date, but it's understood as what is the date. We know what the date is. It's the way we tell time, where we are in the year. That's what the date is. But which is the date? Es el blanco, número en blanco, de el mes. So, es el 24, yeah, de abril. That's what we would say for today. So this is a full sentence. There's our verb ser. Otro ejemplo es el 22 de diciembre. So you put the number, followed by de, and then the mes, or a month. Okay, so I'm going to jump all the way over to los interrogativos brevemente. Of course, we need to know our interrogativos, and the more questions we answer, the further we go in Espanol, the more we'll see dónde, de dónde, quién, cómo, cuál, cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, cuántas, and other interrogativos. Those are the main ones that I just said to you, but qué, por qué also. So the further we go in Espanol, the more we'll get familiar with these. It's just a matter of continuing with Espanol. These are not things that you sit down and you learn in one setting. So be patient with yourself. Since everything is open book, you can know where to refer. Okay, so if you were in clase, that's what you would see at the end of clase. I'm going to switch over to the second half of semana doce and try to keep this as short as possible. So as I mentioned before, the theme of this unit is números, as in pluralización, making with a singular plural, right? So in unidad dos, we were singular, description of singular things. Now we're describing cosas plurales or múltiples cosas. This video is fun here, pardon, because it uses the verb gustar and preferir, and so this is one way we can learn how to use our vocabulario para gustos, vocab for understanding what we appreciate. I don't want to say the L word, L-I-K-E, and I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, so pluralización, it's not really a new thing for us. We started learning in unidad uno y unidad dos, especialmente con los artículos. If we have el carro, if you see in the middle, kind of to the left of the screen, el carro, the car, we want to pluralize that, we would say los carros. La mesa, the table, las mesas. Notice that el and los, they're different as opposed to la and las, just an s. For pluralization of nouns, depends on what the noun ends in. So if it ends in an, es, or ion, you simply drop the acento and add es. If it ends in a zeta, you change the zeta to a se and add es, as in lápiz, lápices. Everything else you would just add ese to the end of it, in general. So no absolutes in not just Espanol, but in lenguas, at least not Western languages. So I really try to avoid saying 100% of the time. But generalmente, generally, you would just add an S. For example, perro, perros, dog, dogs, just add an S to it. Casa, casas. Okay, so here is Kristen, and Kristen can help us to better understand pluralización. One area that we struggle in, particularly, not just you all, but people in general, is understanding adjetivos posesivos, possessive adjectives. What you should know at this point is that possessive adjectives go before the noun. So just as you would say my car, you would say mi carro. The thing is, you want to pluralize the noun when you pluralize the possessive adjective. So it can still be just one person that owns many things. For example, mis carros. So that put an S on the end of me and an S on the end of carro, mis carros. And it works the same with many people owning one thing. If I say nuestra casa, it's multiple people that own the house, or at least live in the house. Nuestra casa doesn't have to be pluralized, it's already plural, our house. Vuestra familia, you all's family, right? Okay, so here are some more examples. Mi abuelo, mis abuelos. Notice that nuestro, nuestra, they can be pluralized. Same with vuestro, vuestra. Nuestro hijo, nuestros hijos, vuestro hijo, vuestros hijos, vuestra hija, vuestras hijas. Su and su, singular and plural, they look the same. It just depends on the context, right? So this kind of pluralization thing, it kind of messes with the mind a little bit with the verb gustar. But what you should know is that gustar is not really a foreign word. We've used it already. Por ejemplo, we use gust in English, but we put a dis on the front of it. It's the same word. It's just a prefix added to it. So if something is not pleasing to us, we say that's disgusting, or that blank gusts me, that disgusts me, right? What if we were to say that pleases me? We would say that gusts me if we kept the origin of the word. That disgusts me, he disgusts you. That gusts me, he gusts you. So basically it's saying that pleases me, he pleases you. In the hypothetical sentence, that gusts me, the pronoun that is a subject and me or me is the object. So you don't do anything. It's passive to be pleased. I think of like this kind of king, or kind of like some kind of czar or someone just kind of being served hand and foot. Someone brings stuff to, they perform juggling before the king or the czar or the queen or whoever, and they're just sitting there on the throne being pleased, being served grapes, being served all kind of wines and drinks and whatever. And that's kind of how gustar works. You don't like anything, you are pleased by certain things. Por ejemplo, the book pleases me. El libro me gusta. The books please me, let's pluralize it. Los libros, everything is pluralized except for me. Los libros me gustan. Yeah. And so keep that in mind. There are only two conjugations that we use, gusta y gustan. So that's it for este video para semana doce. It's gone a lot longer than I wanted to, but probably not as long as the previous one. Anyway, I hope it's been helpful, and stay pendientes. I don't know the word for that in English. Stay tuned, I guess, for semana trece. And if you don't get your stuff in by el 25 by midnight, if you don't get your things in by the 25th by midnight, try to get in it as soon as you possibly can. because I haven't caught up yet. So there's grace for you. Bien, gracias y hasta luego.